Let me ask you, do you wake up tired or drag through your day and then feel wired at night? Or do you simply feel exhausted all the time, even when you've had a full night's of sleep? If you're in a state of constant exhaustion, let me remind you first, you are not broken. And it's not just because you're getting older. I work with women in their 40s and beyond every single day. And after weight struggles, the most common thing I hear is, I'm just so tired, or I want more energy. Or the famous one, I just want to feel like myself again. That deep bone level fatigue that coffee just doesn't touch is attributed to constant fatigue. It's just like a blanket that stays with you, adding just a little bit of extra weight to carry around, both metaphorically and physically. Today, I want to walk through what's been really going on beneath the surface and help you understand what's happening in your body so that you can support her and you can flip the script to feel amazing again, because I assure you, it is possible. I see it happen all the time. So let's dive in. So let's understand, why really are you so tired? I find that there's a couple of key kind of areas to focus on. The first one being that your body is inflamed and it's just exhausted from fighting the fight of inflammation. It's like constantly having to put out this fire. So this isn't about, visible swelling that we see when we injure ourselves, but it's this low grade chronic inflammation that's happening beneath the surface on a cellular level. And this is what can zap our energy. This often starts in the gut it can be triggered from a variety of mechanisms, but one can be food sensitivities, having exposure to toxins, to having nutrient deficiencies. We can have out of balance microbiome, that's our gut bacteria, stress, and even sometimes hidden infections can be one of the contributing factors. The second thing could be, and often is, connected to blood sugar levels. So these blood sugar crashes are wrecking our natural rhythm of high and sustainable energy. So how it goes is basically you eat something kind of light that is perhaps not balanced, maybe heavy in the sugar and or carbohydrate department, and then a couple of hours, it happens. Invariably, you get the crash from maybe that little piece of toast or little fruit or just a smoothie in the morning that had a lot of vegetables and fruit. The few hours pass and now you're ravenous. Maybe you're hangry and maybe even shaky or foggy. This is a sign that your blood sugar is dipping too low. This is your body's way of communicating with you, sending you a message that she needs fuel, like real balanced fuel to nourish her, to for energy to do the things that she needs to do. So over time, this constant up and down variation of our blood sugar levels can contribute to this feeling of fatigue. It steals our energy, our vitality, and it actually even affects our mood. The third thing that is a large contributing factor is, perhaps you may have guessed it already, is stress. So our stress hormones, and particularly today in modern world, many of us are stuck in survival mode. So cortisol, as you may know, our primary stress hormone, is meant to help us to respond to stressors, not to live in that state of chronic stress 24/7. And this is sadly how our modern society is kind of lined up for us. So whether that's from caring from everyone else's needs, from being constantly stimulated, for having a never-ending to-do list, or always just one more thing to get done and then I can rest, this state of always being in go mode and no slow mode without us really resting can be a sign that our adrenals are tapped out, they're taxed and fatigued, and they need a rest, a deep rest. So this is the body's way of signaling a little flag, a surrender flag, saying, trying to get our attention. Hello, I'm here. Um, so stress is a very big contributor. The next one that you would want to consider is nervous system. Um, Directly tied to the stress point, but when our nervous system is pretty much tapped out, you can call it fried. where everything feels like a little too much, that it's just overwhelming. So the noise, the clutter, even these small decisions, it just feels like a big burden. This is not you being dramatic. It's a sign of your nervous system saying, I need some space, I need safety. And most of us are living, as I mentioned, in this fight or flight mode and even freeze mode. Freeze is another protective mechanism when we can't outrun or fight the danger. We go numb to numb the pain of impending death. This is a survival mechanism, the way that we're biologically wired as humans, to keep us either running or fighting or completely numb. So when you're in this freeze mode, or exhausted from the fighting or flighting, this can lead to these extreme levels of what feel like constant exhaustion or fatigue. Another thing to consider is the mitochondrial health. So the mitochondria are little powerhouses, the little energy centers in our cells that contribute to how we produce energy, ATP. So if these little factories aren't working or efficient anymore, this can cause internal and global fatigue and exhaustion. So basically, how they get impaired can be from toxins, from food, from environment, from what we're ingesting, from what we're putting on our body. It can be from nutrient deficiencies or poor nutrition as well, and also from lack of movement, from being sedentary. The last thing that may be a contributing factor is that you're missing key nutrients. So I kind of skimmed on this in the last point, but when I'm not talking about like, supplements to buy because, you heard online all of the benefits and all the great things that they can provide because they're magical and they have these magical benefits and cures. I mean, like real personalized deficiencies, understanding what your unique biochemistry, your body is in its current state, what it may be lacking or what it may have access of. So there's so many variables, but whether it's iron or B12 or vitamin D or magnesium or the micronutrients, these are all worth exploring and very commonly missed in midlife, particularly after we've had decades of accumulation of these nutritional imbalances, stressors, hormonal changes, etc. So these nutrient deficiencies are often linked to our microbiome and also to our gut state of digestion. I don't know if you can hear my dog. I'm sorry if you can. This is real life. My dog is having a moment, choking on what I'm saying. I'm so sorry. Are you okay? She's okay. Sorry about that. So the thing is, what do we do? How do we fix this? And I suppose the million-dollar question is, what do we do? How do you fix this? So what you can start doing differently now is first start by building meals that balance your blood sugar. So starting your day with, of course, real food would be priority number one. And making sure you're focusing on protein. I would go even further to say that you're focusing on balanced meals, proteins, fats, and carbohydrates, complex carbohydrates that have fiber at every meal. This is going to help balance your blood sugar, 3 meals a day, ideally 4 to 5 hours apart. No fasting to put an additional stressor on an already stressed system or body. So balancing the blood sugar, giving it the balanced nutrients that it needs to maintain its energy, its satiety, and of course your focus. And then avoiding those crashes that we talked about earlier. The next thing we can do is give our nervous system some breathing room, some space, and some safety. So you don't have to go meditating on a mountaintop, although that is totally welcome and totally acceptable. But it could mean just by taking a few moments every day or consistently throughout your day to give yourself space without any distractions or stimulation. It could be breathing technique. It could just be sitting silently with no devices, just listening to the sounds of nature. Not being stimulated is the key. Of course, rest is hugely important, and so is sleep. But these little moments, micro moments throughout the day to give the body the signal that it's safe and it doesn't have to be in constant go mode, is just a reminder for it to kind of take its foot off the gas. And that can restore our own internal energy. So these tiny little shifts can really help our body understand that it's safe, it can rest, it can digest, and it doesn't have to be in fight or flight or constant go mode. Speaking of rest, this is the third way that we can address it. Of course, sleep is where we heal, we repair, we detoxify. So much magic is happening when we sleep. We have to understand and really embody that rest is not laziness, particularly in a productive world where we get accredited or acknowledged for our productivity, for our gains, for what we acquire, for what we accumulate. This can be a bit of a trap, and understanding that we can't heal or feel good if we're constantly in go mode. So giving ourselves this permission to slow down, to understand that it's not selfish, that it's smart, that it's fundamental for our body's recalibration. We talked a bit about sleep, and it may be important to note here, women particularly, we tend to need more sleep than our male counterparts. So this is not something innately wrong with us or that we're getting older or we're just tired. We need more sleep. We have very different bodies, very different hormone mechanisms, and it's okay to take the rest, not only in sleep, but in the micro moments that we talked about during the day. So this is practice of resting. And the more we do anything, the better that we get. So we're really practicing slowing down. And what can happen when we're in this stress mode is that we kind of get stuck in gear. We kind of get stuck in overdrive, if you will. So it can be hard to switch gears, and it can feel very unfamiliar and uncomfortable when we go to pause and to rest and be silent and not doing anything. It's like weird. So the more we can practice that in these tiny little increments of time, the more repetition, the more reps that we get in, the more easy and actually the easier it becomes, but the better we get at doing it and switching gears to be able to be in the rest mode. We talked earlier about supporting mitochondrial power. So this is our cellular power and how we can do that. As you know, these are our little energy generators, our little factories that produce energy. So from stress and poor nutrition and these toxins that we accumulate over time and these nutrient deficiencies, that can leave us feeling sluggish and our little cellular factories not working optimally. So what we need now is not to do something more, it's just actually to do something differently. So we can nourish our bodies with real foods that come straight from the earth, thinking about colorful fruits, vegetables, having fiber, having proper amounts of good quality fat, quality protein, coming back to the balanced meal. Also getting some movement. When we are sluggish, our body becomes sluggish. Our bodies are designed and built to move. So keeping our body moving can feel counterintuitive when you feel like you don't have any energy. You don't feel like you have the energy, but it can be the best medicine is to get moving, get the blood flowing, get the blood circulating, get the endorphins flowing, and that can create its own source and fuel of energy. So if you're still feeling like you've been doing all these right things and still maybe feeling flat, it may be time to look underneath the hood individually, like to understand what's going on with your own unique body rather than just kind of carpet bombing or taking general information that may be applicable to some and perhaps not to you. So looking at the micronutrient and even macronutrient deficiencies is a really great place to start. So having targeted support can make all the difference in the world. And the thing is, you don't have to figure this out alone. There are countless people, myself included, that are able to help you do this and understand your own unique biomechanisms and what your body may most benefit from at this stage of life. So this is exactly, the root cause type of work that I do with my clients. The last point that I want to make here about the fix is to get curious, to just understand that the symptoms that you're experiencing, if it's fatigue, if it's weight, if it's hot flashes, all the symptoms that our bodies are providing us are messages. Our body is always working for us to protect us. And these symptoms are its way of communicating. Our body doesn't use words. It can only use symptoms to get our attention, to tell us something is amiss or off balance. So instead of fighting it, what if we listen to it and get really curious to understand? If you can't decode what it's saying, get some help to listen to what it may be, and really addressing the root cause rather than masking the symptom or suppressing the symptom. And, you know, I don't know. There's many ways that we can do that, and I won't get into it, but you do deserve support. You do deserve and are worthy of feeling totally alive and full of energy. This is a birthright, and it is totally possible. It just may take some tweaks. And this is where maybe this functional testing can come in really handy, so that you're not guessing, that you don't have to just try to decode this by yourself and understand what your body truly needs. So reach out to either your natural health care provider, your functional practitioner, and see what kind of testing they can provide. Or if you don't have someone like that in your corner, feel free to reach out to me. This is what I do with my one-on-one clients. So fatigue, I will just say, is a symptom. It is not a lifetime sentence that you have to deal with forever. It is certainly not a sign of weakness. It is not a sign of aging, and it's not a sign that you're failing. Your body has likely been trying to keep up with your life and your body's demands and changes for decades. And now she is just asking for a new approach. So there is no one size fits all type of approach, particularly with our unique bodies. But there are very small strategic things that we can all use and benefit from, and very strategic steps that we can take to improve our overall vitality, how we feel, our mood, our body's functionings, so that you can feel clearer, that you can feel lighter and more like yourself again. This is something, like I said in the beginning, that I hear so often as a request. I just want to feel like myself again. So if this spoke to you, I invite you to leave a comment or subscribe. Stick around and see what other information is coming from here, from these videos. And if you'd like to take this a step further, I'll leave you two free resources that you can get going on your own pace, at your own level, and at your own time, and you can get started now. So the first one is a resource to help you improve your sleep. And the second one is a 7-day plan to help you fix your fatigue. Both are free, completely complimentary. Go ahead and download them. You can get started today. And if you wanted to take this step a little bit further, feel free to reach out. I do offer a complimentary metabolic assessment where we understand what's going on with you, what may be getting in your way, and what may the fix be for your unique situation. If that's something you'd like to take advantage of, I'll drop the link here below, or feel free and reach out. And just understand, you don't have to push through this anymore. There are ways to correct this, I assure you. So the thing is, your body is just asking for a different route. So let's listen to her. Okay, that's it for today. And I hope you got something beneficial, and I hope to see you in the next video. Bye for now.